In 2022, Shein was worth more than H&M and Zara combined. And here is the thing nobody talks about. Most people have never even heard the founder's name. While you were sleeping, a company you probably thought was just another cheap clothing site became the most downloaded shopping app in America. They're adding 6,000 new designs every single day. That's not a typo. 6,000. But here's where it gets weird. They have almost no physical stores. No celebrity endorsements until recently. And for years, their CEO has never given a single public interview. So how did a company that started in a tiny apartment in China become a $100 billion empire that is absolutely destroying fast fashion giants who've been around for decades? That's what we're about to uncover. And trust me, the rabbit hole goes deep. Let's start with what makes Shein so strange. In 2023, Shein was the most Googled fashion brand on the planet. But if you ask people on the street who runs it, you'll get blank stares. The founder's name is Chris Zhu. And before Shein, he was an SEO expert. Remember that detail, it becomes crucial later. Here's what we know. In 2008, Zhu started a company called ZZKKO, selling wedding dresses online. Pretty standard stuff. But he noticed something interesting in the data. Certain styles were getting massive search traffic, but nobody was selling them fast enough. The traditional fashion cycle: design, manufacture, ship, sell took months. By the time these dresses hit the market, the trend was already dead. So Zhu had an idea. What if you could collapse that entire cycle into days? That idea became Shein. But to understand how they actually pulled this off, we need to talk about the three unfair advantages that turned Shein from a small operation into a global monster. Here's what most people get wrong about Shein. They think it's a fashion company. It's not. Shein is a data company that happens to sell clothes. Remember how I said the founder was an SEO expert? Here's where that matters. While Zara and H&M have buyers and designers predicting what will be trendy next season, Shein has something completely different, an algorithm that tracks everything. What people are searching for on Google, what's trending on TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, what designs are getting clicks but not conversions. Even what people are putting in their carts but not buying. They're scanning the entire internet in real time for fashion signals. And here's the insane part. They use this data to make micro batches of 100 to 200 units. If a design sells well, they scale production instantly. If it doesn't, they kill it within days. Traditional fashion brands design 6 to 12 months in advance, order thousands of units, hope it sells. Shein identifies trend today, produces sample batch in 3 to 5 days, tests with real customers, scales winners, kills losers in a week. It's basically A/B testing. For clothing. One designer who worked with their suppliers told me Shein tests around 1.3 million designs per year. That's not a fashion company. That's a machine learning operation with a clothing front end. But having a good algorithm isn't enough. To move this fast, they needed to completely reinvent manufacturing. Okay, this is where things get really interesting and controversial. Shein's headquarters is in Singapore. But the magic happens in Guangzhou, China. And when I say magic, I mean a supply chain system so efficient it makes Amazon look slow. In Guangzhou, there's a garment district with over 3,000 small factories within a 5-mile radius. And Shein has built an entire digital ecosystem around them. Here's how it works. Most fashion brands place one big order with a factory. Make me 10,000 of these jeans. Shein does the opposite. They place hundreds of tiny orders across dozens of factories. Make me 100 of this dress, 150 of this top, 200 of these pants. They built proprietary software that connects all these factories in real time. When a trend is detected, the system automatically 1. Generates a design, 2. Finds the factory with available capacity, 3. Places the order, 4. Tracks production by the hour, 5. Ranges shipping before the items are even finished. The average time from design to delivery. 7 to 10 days. Zara, who pioneered fast fashion, takes 2 to 3 weeks. H&M takes 2 to 3 months. Now, I need to address something. This system has been heavily criticized. Reports have surfaced about factory workers doing 18-hour shifts, wages as low as 3 cents per item, suppliers violating labor laws. Shein has responded by joining sustainability initiatives and promising factory audits. But investigations by Bloomberg and others found ongoing issues. This is important context. Shein's speed comes at a cost, and it's often paid by the people making the clothes. But from a pure business strategy perspective, they've created a supply chain that's genuinely unprecedented. And that brings us to the third advantage. Here is a question. How do you build a $100 billion fashion brand without spending billions on advertising like your competitors? Because Zara spends millions on storefronts in premium locations. H&M has massive TV campaigns. Fashion Nova pays celebrities. Shein. They build a gamified shopping experience that turns customers into marketers. Tactic 1. The points system. Everything you do on Shein earns points. Check-in daily. Points. Leave a review. Points. Upload a photo. More points. Share on social media. Even more points. These points convert to discounts. So customers are incentivized to basically advertise for Shein for 2 off their next order. Tactic 2. Haul culture. Shein didn't just participate in YouTube haul culture, they systematized it. They sent free products to thousands of micro-influencers. Not big celebrities. Regular people with 5,000 to 50,000 followers. These creators make Shein haul videos that get millions of views. Search Shein haul on YouTube right now. There are millions of videos. That's not luck. That's strategy. Tactic 3. The app experience. Shein's app is designed like a social media feed, not a shopping site. Infinite scroll, personalized recommendations, flash sales every few hours, creating FOMO. The average person spends 8.5 minutes per session on the Shein app. On the H&M app, 2 minutes. By 2022, most downloaded shopping app in 50-plus countries, 250 million app downloads, customer acquisition cost, a fraction of traditional retailers. They essentially built a viral growth machine disguised as a clothing store. But here's the thing about growing this fast and this controversially, eventually, people notice. In the last 2 years, Shein has faced design theft lawsuits from independent artists and major brands, reports of toxic chemicals in clothing above safe levels, congressional scrutiny over labor practices, accusations of using cotton from Xinjiang linked to forced labor, environmental criticism. They produce 1.5 million tons of CO2 annually. The company has responded by launching a resale platform, Shein Exchange, joining the UN Fashion Industry Charter for Climate Action, starting a $15 million small designer support fund. But critics call this greenwashing. You can't fix a broken model with a press release, as one environmental group put it. So where does Shein go from here? They're reportedly planning a US IPO that could value them at $90 billion. But they're facing serious headwinds, regulatory scrutiny in the US and EU, growing consumer awareness about fast fashion's impact, competition from Temu and other ultra-cheap retailers, potential bans on de minimis shipping exemptions they currently exploit. The question isn't whether Shein will survive, they will. The question is whether they can evolve fast enough to stay ahead of the backlash. So, how did Shein quietly take over the fashion industry? 3 things. 1. They treated fashion like a data problem and built an algorithm that predicts trends in real time. 2. They created a supply chain so efficient it compressed months into days, though at significant human and environmental cost. 3. They turned customers into marketers through gamification and perfectly timed the rise of social media haul culture. But here's the deeper lesson: Shein didn't win by being a better fashion brand. They won by completely reimagining what a fashion brand could be. They're not the future of fashion. They're the future of data-driven manufacturing that happens to sell clothes. Whether that's inspiring or terrifying probably depends on where you sit in the supply chain. What do you think? Is Shein a brilliant innovation or a cautionary tale? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more deep dives into how controversial companies actually work, hit subscribe. I've got some wild ones coming. See you in the next one.